Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. We have some very serious breaking news. A situation right now that is going to create a great deal of controversy and focus here in the United States. And this is coming off of Donald Trump on a huge roll, considering what just happened with Maduro. And you guys already know here on the BuzWeaver channel, we take the difficult, we take the complicated, we take the tumult, we take the confusion, and we try to break it down into a reasonable, understandable, digestible way. So I will try my best not to include levels of my own personal bias here to give you guys the information, but I always allow you guys, you guys know this, to make your own decisions, draw your own conclusions, and make up your own mind. So here we go, moving forward. From the New York Post, Renee Nicole Good identified by mother as woman fatally shot by ICE agent in Minneapolis. A woman fatally gunned down by an ICE agent in Minneapolis has been identified as 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, who described herself as a mother, a wife, and a poet. Good was identified by her mother hours after she was killed, after the feds say she tried to ram ICE agents on a street in the city, the Star Tribune reported. Now, this is the main story now because this is just breaking just a couple hours ago. So this is still out there. As a matter of fact, when I checked a lot of my sources, there wasn't a lot of material out there on this topic or articles and so forth going on the topic. I was able to find a little bit of news here on CBS. As you can see here, they're even gone live because things are still unfolding. And it looks like, there's some press conferences going on. We have Kristi Noem that was speaking. And, of course, as I just mentioned here, a woman was fatally shot by ICE. And here's what we know based on what CBS has outlined. The victim we know is a 37-year-old. She's been identified, a woman married with children. Witnesses tell WCCO the whistles sounded to alert neighbors of ICE presence at around 9:30 a.m. Witnesses say they saw a Honda Pilot blocked by multiple federal agents, and an agent tried to open the driver's side door. The motorist then put her vehicle into reverse, then into drive. Witnesses say that they then heard 3 shots fired. The Honda traveled another several feet before crashing into another vehicle. This discharge of the firearm, of course, were fatal. U.S. Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem characterized the driver's actions as an act of domestic terrorism. And then we have Tricia McLaughlin, Homeland Security Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, said in a statement Wednesday morning the victim was one of those violent rioters who weaponized her vehicle, attempted to run our law enforcement officers, attempted to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them, an act of domestic terrorist. However, videos posted to social media of the deadly encounter corroborate witnesses' accounts, Mayor Jacob Frey said. He's seen the video and the incident as well and called the federal agency's narrative of the events BS. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz added, "Don't believe this propaganda machine." Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to show the actual video, but I am going to show you what individuals have been saying in regard to that. So you can watch the video for yourself, and based on the video, it does appear, for example, as the Hodge twin says, that it didn't look like she tried to run over anybody. That's a bad look for ICE. Now, this is coming from the Hodge twins, a very conservative group of guys. However, when we look down through some of the videos, people point out, yes, there was an agent in front of her car here. This is what you don't actually see that well in the video. This is why when you see these videos online, you have to approach it all with a great deal of caution and objectivity. There was an agent standing in front of the vehicle that when she tried to reverse and then move forward. This is important to everyone to know. He's right here. He's right in front of this vehicle. And you can see when she tries to drive off, he is standing right in front of her. And but again, I'm not trying to draw conclusions or trying to change your guys' minds. You guys can make your own decisions. As you can see, he's right here in front of the vehicle. He was recording, essentially, is what he was doing. And I want to make sure that I don't show you guys anything too disturbing here because that's not the point. But this has escalated, as you saw me go through these. This has escalated to a point here. And as we have said here on the BuzWeaver channel, The Democrats in many of these blue cities, in these blue states, have used rhetoric and used language that essentially almost empowers individuals or citizens of these areas to take law enforcement into their own hands. This is creating a huge problem. How many times have we said here on the BuzWeaver channel, this is going to lead to a serious situation? You can't be out there in the street, because even from CBS News, apparently they alert people to let them know that there's the presence of ICE. So was she out there, in a form of protest out there? Now, of course, these are just conclusions that I'm drawing because I'm trying to be relatively objective. Because from what I'm seeing and what I've read so far, it doesn't look like she was just simply driving through the neighborhood, if you follow my meaning. She wasn't just driving through the neighborhood. It would appear that she may have been there intentionally. And here's the thing. A situation like this has been what a lot of the blue city, maybe mayors and others and governors have wanted to happen. Now, I say that a bit hyperbolically, of course, because that's my level of bias coming out. But you guys already know the language that has been used this entire time. First off, that Trump is doing this and it's illegal. And then, of course, all of the stays that they have issued to keep Trump from putting out National Guards, Trump being, the having the laws reviewed. And, of course, we've discussed all the legal ramifications and the issues. These are ICE agents enforcing laws made by Congress. If Congress wants to change the laws, that's their job. But the ICE agents are enforcing what Congress has created for them to follow, as well as the fact that ICE agents have been in danger this entire time. Their lives have been in danger. We've seen plenty of rammings. We've seen plenty of situations that have put ICE agents in danger, as well as the fact that they have used tremendous amounts of restraint. And we know that there are situations out there involving ICE agents. We saw this, I was going to cover this yesterday. DHS accuses Minneapolis Hilton of maliciously denying service to ICE agents as massive federal operation kicks off. So this was a topic I was going to cover today, and not to mention the fact that we have alleged J.D. Vance home vandal is son of wealthy doctor Dim donor who recently changed their name to Julia. And this person went over and vandalized and or broke into J.D. Vance's house. So we're seeing a serious escalation when it comes to a lot of the activity that's going on here in the United States. And with the capture of Maduro, this gave Donald Trump tremendous amount of momentum. I'm sure you've seen plenty of the videos where the Venezuelans have come out and have praised Donald Trump for what he's done, and then areas of other countries and here in the States protesting that he was captured. So we have all of this volatility happening right now. And this situation has now rechanged the pendulum, rechanged the direction of where everything is going. And the language Tim Walz is using, as we just covered yesterday, Tim Walz is not going to seek re-election because of the fraud that's going on there. So we have so many things going on right now in the country, and it's getting extraordinarily volatile. And now we have basically Tim Walz saying that he's going to turn the National Guard against ICE. Now, that's my language. That's what I'm saying. I want you to listen to his own language, and you can make the interpretation. Just like we saw with Captain Kelly, right? And Pete Hegseth is going to reduce and dock his pay because we saw, as the Democrats coordinated, using assumptive language to imply that the military should not follow illegal orders, which they already do. I mean, the military has to follow orders. If you break down that system, you break down our military. They follow orders. That's what they do. They aren't going to follow illegal orders because when orders are being issued, it isn't just done randomly, right? It's not done on the spot. These are all thought out processes that the military uses. And we saw that, how that process works out in Venezuela. There was no loss of life. There was no loss of vehicles, nothing. That was an extraordinary operation because our military are extraordinary people. They don't follow illegal orders. And yet this is the climate that the Democrats have created. They have created this climate. They have created this situation. ICE is enforcing what Congress has put out for them. That's what they're doing. But, of course, we know all of the situations with the border and how that was left to just allow these people to come in. Where was all the due process when they were coming into our country illegally? Where was all the due process? Where was all the concerns to ensuring the law was being enforced? Where was that concern? So let me go ahead as I wax on here and let you guys listen to Tim Walz.
Order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Porter.
Now, see, that's very strong language. That's very dangerous language coming from the Democrats, coming from this particular Democrat who's not going to seek re-election because his state is currently involved in one of the most epic fraud cases that is currently happening right now. But this is breaking news. I welcome your thoughts and comments down in the public section, down in the public area there. I want to make sure that I didn't say something different, description area. But in the comment section, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. The level of escalation that's going on here. Every time Donald Trump has success, the left always and the Democrats have to try to regain that position. Because as we've always said here on the BuzWeaver channel, the Democrats push the boundaries, blur the lines, and put their political enemies on defense. Trump is totally on offense, has been on offense now these last several days, and they can't stand that. They cannot deal with it. Now, that is not to detract from this situation. And this is going to be a giant debate here on whether or not this was a genuine, necessary use of force or not. And, of course, people aren't going to wait for an investigation. People aren't going to wait for any of this because there's already this conversation happening right now on social media. So at this point, we are going to have to wait and see. But as I can show you here, there was an agent filming her standing in front of her vehicle. And you guys can draw your own conclusions. You guys can come up with your own thoughts. You know, I welcome whatever you guys have to say in the comment section. As long as it's constructive, as long as it's productive, I allow it to stay there, even if I disagree with it. But nonetheless, guys, that's what I had for you this day on this breaking news. Of course, below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to include X. And, of course, my affiliate marketing links. You guys know how those work. But I wanted to bring this to you guys so that you would know and have the information. This is still breaking news. We still have a lot of things that are going on. So we're going to have to wait and see how these things come out. We're going to have to wait for the press conferences. We're going to have to see what's going to happen. I am not impressed with what Tim Walz did here and what his approach is, because I've always made the argument that the Democrats have to say these things to appeal to their base because they don't want their base turning on them, right? They know that their base are loose cannons, ready to go off, as just like this individual here, or maybe even the individual who took the shot at Donald Trump, and the individual down at Donald Trump's golf courses. These people are on edge. They are afraid. They are wired. They are wound up. They are jacked up. They are unhappy that Donald Trump is the president of the United States. And this situation is going to be very serious right now. This is exactly what the Democrats needed. I don't want to turn this into a political debate. But this was something that the Democrats were waiting to happen. We had talked about this, that this was a possibility. But nonetheless, guys, I waxed on. Thank you so much for your continued support. Appearing there on the screen is the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, of course. And select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.